In today's video, I'm going to show you what I eat in a day to lose weight. I hope it will be helpful in giving you some ideas on what you can do. The first meal I have is at about 1 p.m. I intermittent fast, so my eating period is between 1 p.m. and 8 p.m. So the first meal I have is shreddies, and I do measure out my food. So I'm just measuring out the milk. I am trying to phase out cow's milk from my diet, so I do mix it with almond milk, and then I have it with shreddies, which is my favorite cereal, but it's also high in fiber, and I do measure that out too. I never used to, but I've just found that it is an easy way to guarantee weight loss because you can record accurate amounts and you're not just eyeballing everything. But I didn't used to have time for that, and with being in lockdown, I've been able to spend a bit more time doing that, and I found it really helpful. So I would recommend it if you do have a scale. And I do mix my shreddies with blueberries and banana. I tend to like my bananas quite ripe. I usually like them a bit spotty, but in this case they were a bit green. But I was super hungry, so I had them anyway. So I have the whole banana and I'm just chopping it up here. And then I like my milk warm, so I have my milk on the stove here. And I'm just showing you guys that I do use FitnessPal. This video is not sponsored, and I do use the free version of FitnessPal. It just helps me to make sure that my meals are balanced. I don't do any kind of elimination, so I don't eliminate carbs or anything like that. I just try to make sure that every meal that I have is balanced. So here I'm just eating my breakfast. It was really yummy. I didn't add any sugar. When you add the fruits, it kind of gives it all the sugar that it needs. And then I have it with a coffee. I don't tend to add my coffee or vegetables into my FitnessPal. I usually make it with a little bit of milk and about half a teaspoon of sugar. And yeah, that's what I have for breakfast. So next up is lunch, and I fill my lunches with vegetables. So you don't have to have these vegetables that I go through. You can pick ones that you like. I thought I was recording my chopping, but I wasn't. So I have here an already chopped up pepper and some mushrooms, and I'm just cutting up onions here. I have my onions in my egg, so I have one egg and I add onions and cheese, and you can see that's what I'm adding into my FitnessPal here. I do measure out my cheese because I used to eat cheese from the bag and then after measuring it I realized that it's really high in calories, so I just measured my cheese to make sure that I don't go overboard. And for me, seasoning is also key. I don't really enjoy eating things that don't taste nice, so I always season everything. So here I'm seasoning with garlic salt, white pepper and all-purpose seasoning. I do try to go easy on the salt because, you know, lots of salt is not good for you. So garlic salt is always my go-to because I kind of get a mix of the salt and the flavor. So here I'm just measuring out my cheese. I usually add mozzarella cheese, but I didn't have any. Mozzarella cheese is a bit lower in calorie, but here I have medium cheddar, which was fine. I just had a bit less of it. And then I make myself a small omelette, and you'll see that I don't usually tend to use more than one pan. It does sound strange, but I'm usually multitasking, so I find it much easier to kind of do everything in one pan, and it also helps with flavor. And I have turkey rashers here. I don't eat bacon, so I have turkey bacon. So I also don't use oil. I've just found that it adds calories that I don't really need. So I usually cook the vegetables first. I did have the fire up a bit high here, but if you start cooking the vegetables on low heat, you can add a little bit of water if you need to. They usually like secrete water, and I use that to help cook everything else. So you can see here that I've kind of cooked these vegetables up a bit, and then I'm adding in the turkey rashers, which I cook beside it. It usually works for me. So you can see it's frying here. The vegetables do look like a lot, but they do tend to shrink down once they're cooked. And I use vegetables to bulk out my meals so that I'm not super hungry after I eat. So next, I love bagels, guys. They are my favorite. However, they are really high in calories. So I have these bagel thins, which are just thinner versions of bagels, and I put them in the oven. I grill them for a little while because I like them a bit crunchy. And you can see here, to the same pan, I've added the omelette. And I cook it on low heat. It's a small omelette, so it doesn't take very long. So my bagels are ready, and I take them out of the oven. I do add a little bit of butter, but not much, just enough to kind of give it a bit of taste. And then I love gherkins, or pickles, so I have a pickle with it. I found that if I can find things that I really enjoy the taste of, it really helps to help me feel satisfied after I've eaten. So I add my pickle and my egg. And you can see in my FitnessPal that I do also look at the nutrition section, which comes in the free plan. And I just see if I'm doing okay with my carbs to protein ratio. And then I add on my vegetables onto the top. I make sure that everything's seasoned really well, and I add some mustard, because mustard is really low in calories, but it has a really strong taste and I really like it. I have English mustard here. I did add that into my FitnessPal. I think it's like 16 calories per teaspoon. So next up I have dinner, and for dinner I'm having some salmon. I tend to season my salmon when I make my lunch so that it can sit for a little while. But you can see here I'm adding some pepper, some garlic salt again, some fish seasoning, and some mustard again. So I don't know how I discovered mustard on salmon, but mustard on salmon is really nice. It gives it a really nice flavor. So I add on a teaspoon of that. And then I leave it to kind of marinate for a little while. I'm usually cleaning the kitchen or starting dinner for the rest of the people in my house. I also spend a bit of time answering YouTube comments, and I have another coffee. So throughout the day, I am drinking water. I have recently bought a water filter, so I do spend a lot of time drinking water, and I do tend to drink water before I eat just to make sure I'm not thirsty. So I'm having my salmon with broccoli. So I just bake my broccoli with pepper on top of it. I don't add any oil. If you put it on a low heat in the oven, it tends to just cook perfectly fine. And then I'm having it with some rice. I do portion out and weigh my rice. This rice I already had cooked, so I just put that into a bowl. I think I had 100 grams of that. And then from my FitnessPal, I realized that I needed a bit more fat in my meals, so I added half an avocado, and I essentially made like a guacamole, all the ingredients that you would need for that. So tomatoes, onions, lemon juice, and what you could do here is put it in a blender after you've seasoned it, of course. But I just didn't really have the time. I was kind of triple tasking. So I just smashed up the avocado myself. And it's a bit more chunky. It's like a chunky guacamole, but it tasted really nice and it added some texture to the meal. So I'm just seasoning it again with some pepper. I think I put all-purpose seasoning in and some garlic salt, and then I'm adding half a lemon. Do be careful with the lemon seeds because they can be quite sour if you bite into them. So I am careful to take those out. So this is what it looks like all mashed up. And so now I get to plating. So I add my rice and then I add my salmon and everything else. If you enjoy videos like this, please do click the subscribe button. Let me know what you think of this video. I am happy to do more. So you can see that my broccoli is cooked fine without anything really on it. And then this is what my meal looks like. It was really yummy. I really enjoyed it. And I do have weight that does fluctuate sometimes, and I do find that this always works to get me back on track. To end the day, I do have some peppermint tea and a biscuit. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.